open the select board meeting for Monday, October 24th. Entertain a motion to accept the agenda as may be amended.
So moved.
Moved.
Is there anything anyone needs to do?
No, I mean,
Nope.
unless we wanted to move one thing up in front of the zoning, but that's quick, right? The zoning board?
Yeah, that's just basically warning it.
Yeah.
That's just
Do you want,
warning it.
we talked earlier, do you want to just,
Oh, we're gonna,
The planning
I'd like to
commission one?
table the planning commission out of this
The budget
discussion
thing.
here, because Lisa's
vacation?
Lisa's overseas in Portugal or whatever, and Jennifer's not here.
Okay.
So,
All right, so
Those last two.
planning commission and zoning administrator stuff
Okay,
is off.
okay. All in favor of the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
And if you look in your packs, we have about 9 sets of minutes here.
There's
Some of
four,
them are old ones that weren't properly accepted.
So the October 17th, we just got today?
yes.
So let's
we can
table that till the
one.
next meeting.
I have one change on that.
No, we can do it at the next one.
Oh, do it the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's a meeting of April 7th,
Yep.
which was just an executive session, and there was no action taken. I'll make a motion to approve it. That was with all three of us there.
All in
So,
favor, please say aye.
aye. Then there's a meeting minutes of September 26th. All three of us were there.
Yep.
I don't have anything in it.
No, I don't.
I would just state that, again,
Which
This-
number?
6,
6?
unanimously approved. I abstained from every one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
And I
mention
think
it
you
to
just
her,
got it.
but it's unanimously approved because the only ones that could vote.
They approved it, but
unanimously
they need to say
approved it.
Chris
I
abstained.
just gotta
Yeah.
say I abstained,
Okay,
that's all.
so-
We do need to know.
So-
Just so we don't bang out of that,
So
that's all.
Well, so that if we deny one, they
Yeah,
don't say,
so I'll
no,
make
Chris
sure
is the
she
one
gets
that
that.
said
Okay,
it. They can't blame Chris for anything.
yeah, so,
I would have supported it.
No, I'm just saying, if one came in that we didn't
No, I
do.
know.
so, I'll make a motion with that one change.
Yep.
Chris abstained. All in favor,
Which
right?
one are you up to?
We'll just get the vote on that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
With the change?
Yeah.
Aye.
The next one that I'm getting to is September 16th, and this was just Chris and myself. It was just an executive session. Make a motion that we accept it, Chris.
Yep.
September 12th, all three of us were in here. I'm gonna make a motion to accept the minutes.
I have one word, and it's probably a typo.
Which number?
On the third page, number 12, letter D, second sentence, it reads, the correct number is 1,036,169, which is 300,000 at the original stated number.
Less
The
than.
word less was not put in.
Okay, so we're gonna,
So we're just
Which
adding
is?
that one letter. I mean, that one word.
less,
Less stated.
which is 300,000, which is 300,000 less than the original?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's after the money.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll make sure that,
Okay.
Okay,
All in favor of September 12th with one addition, please say aye.
and that was the September 12th at 6:30
That's the
meeting?
regular meeting, there's a
Yeah.
The regular
special.
meeting? So now I'm gonna make a motion for Chris and I to approve the 11:30 special board meeting, September 12th, and there
Yep.
was no action taken. All in favor? Aye. I make a motion for the special select board meeting that all three of us were at of August 4th, and basically it was executive session for contracts, and there was no action taken.
All in favor of August 4th, please say aye.
Aye. I'm gonna make a motion to accept the minutes of July 11th, which is a special select board meeting, and there was actually liquor board and a bunch of other stuff in here, so I don't see anything on here.
All in favor as presented for July 11th, please say aye.
Aye. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes of June 13th. All three of us were here. It was a regular board meeting,
Yeah.
and I didn't see anything there.
No.
And now, just to be on with this, these were meetings that she really didn't have in front of her or wasn't able to get to, I think.
Those were the ones in September, we were having trouble with the downloads.
Yeah.
The other ones were actually all done in draft form, but they never
They never came to us.
came here. There was
They don't
4
line
old
up.
ones.
You know,
The agenda here doesn't line up with the minutes.
Which one's that?
June
So,
13th.
June 13th, speeding engineering study. Number 9, short-term rental update. So they're off like a number.
We probably made a change to the, this is most likely the real,
Okay.
Yeah.
so I'll just make,
Oh, because we went the other way.
because we went
Gotcha.
away, whatever,
Yep.
because we were pushing someone, so I'll just say make sure align
Yeah,
on the June 13th.
cool.
Okay.
All in favor of June 13th as presented, please say aye.
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 Do we have any select board member concerns that are not on the agenda?
No.
You're good? Okay. For those of you that are here and those of you that are zoomed in, if you have something that you would like to bring up that is not already on the agenda, please either raise your hand, let us know, or unmute yourself or something.
I have something.
Okay. Gary?
Today, I attended a seminar given by the Executive Director of the Village to Village Network, and that is a national organization of that champions villages as a cost-effective way for healthy aging and staying in our homes. It's in 44 states and I believe 5 countries, and I'll let you look at this.
Yeah, we'll get it out. Keep reading.
Oh. Here in Killington, you probably know I already write a newsletter. I don't send it to you, but I can certainly send you an example. So I take care of communication. I take care of events. I share, various things that have to do with seniors, but I don't provide any services. And a few years ago, I thought of this, but it just was a job that I thought was too big for me. Well, these villages, they give us guidelines on how to do that. And there is one already established. It's called Mount Mansfield Villages. Have you ever heard of that? It's the towns of Cambridge, Underhill, and Jericho. Anyway, they do this and they provide services and like repairs, shoveling walks, technical help, which I certainly could have used this week. So to start this process, I would like to join this national network. And that will provide me guidelines. For instance, it'll give me examples of surveys to send out to the town seniors. And also will include helpful hints on insurance. I didn't realize when you're volunteering, you drive someone in your car, you might need special insurance. Volunteers also need background checks, which I also did not think about. I know at the school they need background checks, but since this would be adults, I did not know that. Well, a one-year membership costs $200, but it'll give me access to a lot of documents and webinars on how to recruit volunteers and so forth, best practices. And I would like to formally ask you for that fee to be paid. Now, there are no guarantees. I may fail.
Do it if it's not on the agenda.
What?
I'm just asking.
Just take the $200 from the bottles, right? That's all. Okay.
Would you like to just look at this?
So,
There's also money in the rec budget for this as well.
I didn't know you were on, Sarah.
That's okay.
I was just going to just take it out of the bottle fund for now.
There's definitely money in the rec budget
Yeah.
for this that would
I
not
think
take
I
away
brought that
from the
many from the golf
seniors.
course.
Yeah. So, I mean, to make this, go ahead and start doing it, but we're going to be having another meeting shortly. And can you just get it on the agenda? And if there is a special meeting, make sure it's on the next one.
What,
So at least it's just warned and we just do it right, okay?
I think the issue that Jerry brought up is insurance, and the question is, does it become a rec event type of thing, not, for lack of a better word, so that it's covered, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
is
but
it
she's
one of
not
those kind of
asking
things?
for that right now. She's asking to join up to $200
Right.
to find out how it goes.
Right.
That's what she's asking for.
Right.
So I will say that you have my yes vote, and I think you have your yes vote from the other 2 board members.
Yeah.
So start doing your paperwork there to get to it. and
How
then
about
let's
if I
just.
just go ahead and pay for it? Because I'll either,
You don't have, just start filling out the paperwork, come to Chet. If we have to get on the phone within the next couple of days or something to have a little Zoom thing to approve it, let's just get it onto the agenda. What we're trying to do is get things onto the agenda.
Okay.
So that when we approve something, someone can say, well, I would have liked to known that was gonna be on the agenda because I would have had some input. And it could have been positive input, but they still wanted to have the
Right,
input.
okay.
That's
So
all.
I
And I'm
should-
just asking everybody out there that listens, that if you have something you want the board to approve, please get it to the town manager before the meeting, and that way
well,
we
it
can
just
get it on.
happened today.
Yeah, I know, but
And
if
I
you
knew
would
I
have,
would be here for some other reason.
if you would have given it to Chet, I don't want to get into this, but when we
Okay.
did approval of the agenda, we could have
Okay.
thrown it in at that point. We'd
All
like
right.
to add this in.
I've learned my
That's all.
lesson. I get your point.
You know.
And I could have gone to the I know I could have gone to Sarah, but this is a town-wide thing. That's why I removed it from the rec.
Yeah.
um,
We'll get you going.
Yeah, we'll get you there.
Thanks.
No problem.
I don't see anybody online that's unmuted, and I don't see any hands here. So,
Liquor.
Lucretia, do you have some liquor control for us tonight?
We have it in front of us.
Yeah.
I do. So there's a list.
Yep.
Rather than give you all those papers that mean nothing, printed from the DLC site, I noticed that I could download this list from the site. And so there are 2 renewals for North Star Cafe, first class and third class, and they just wait until this time of year because they only go for the half a season on the third class. And then there is a renewal of a first class and third class for the Sunrise Homeowner Association for their little Sunrise Cafe. And then they're also this year applying for a second class liquor license for the first time.
So I'm going to start off with I make a motion for the town clerk to move forward with North Star Cafe for first and third, which are renewals.
Okay,
Chris is abstaining.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Yep. One
You might hear
abstention.
my voice.
One abstention.
So now I'm going to first just hit up the 2 renewals. Sunrise Homeowners for first and third renewals. Let the town clerk move forward with those first and third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and one
Chris
abstention.
abstains, yeah. And then I have a question. What is a second-class license again?
Yeah,
Retail.
They can purchase it in, canned or bottles of, it's only for beer and wine, and they can purchase it and take it out. So I'm assuming that the idea is they can take it to their condo rather than, they can go and buy a bottle of wine or
Is that permitted out
six-pack
there?
of beer.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, so where are they doing this? Out of
At
the
the
bar?
cafe.
At the bar?
at the cafe, she said.
I don't know if you're allowed to buy, you're not allowed to buy beer
At a cafe.
and liquor at a bar and then bring it home. You can buy it from a liquor store or
Well,
from,
I'm sure they'll have it, I would think, and this is up, to the DLC would have to be the ones to make sure that
Yeah.
it's operating in the proper space. Having like a little, store, not so much in the restaurant itself, but.
but that brings me to another question. So that's why I was asking what it is. If it's a store in another place, then they're changing their business over there, and they would need to come into. So, first, I would just like us to table this second-class license and let them get a plan together of where exactly, we did the same thing to, what's his name? Across the street.
Deli.
We wanted him to come in with a picture and drawing of where, and said it had to be recorded, and it was a change of use of the building.
Yeah, we could have Lucretia move forward to get this information without approving the license.
Yeah, I just said I'm moving it,
Yeah.
we're tabling this, and the same thing we did with Cameron across the
Yeah.
street.
Right.
So that's all, Lucretia.
Yeah, I'll contact them and ask them.
Lucretia, has the application process been improved at all within the state side of things? So you,
Not really.
okay.
You get very little.
Could you sugarcoat it next time, please? Okay. So, Again, it gets back to these descriptions of what's licensed and not licensed. And I think that's important for especially select boards to understand. Going forward.
Definitely, and I have expressed that to them,
Okay.
but they still have not,
Okay.
they have not updated the software to include that. I've told them that, so.
Okay.
But I will contact this licensee and ask them to give us more information, but I'll also contact DLC and let them know.
What can you sell as far as alcohol in a second-class license?
Everything I
As far as
sell
I
at the
know,
water wheel.
Yeah.
That's a second class
Beer and wine.
license.
So it's beer and wine.
Beer and
Now
wine.
you can sell liquor now. You can sell liquor up to a certain, yeah, up to a certain amount of alcohol. So you can sell RTDs, you can actually, they make lesser alcohol liquors now, you can sell.
13% or whatever.
So,
So is that like the cider and all
but
that?
it is a separate, you have to run a separate set of books. You have to run, it's taxed differently. It's not like, oh, you need a six-pack of Bud. You can't grab the six-pack of Bud that belongs to your third-class license.
Right.
And it doesn't.
Because that was the thing
First
with
class.
an old store, gas station, and a restaurant.
Yeah.
Couldn't just take beer from up downstairs when he ran out upstairs.
Nope.
Or a bottle of wine. You can't
Separate-
transfer it.
Yeah, separate set of books, everything.
And I think it needs to be a separate area. I mean, I just kind of find it like at the deli, so yeah, at the deli, I saw that they're selling Jell-O shots. It's a package and it's
How
Jell-O.
many did you buy?
None. I didn't like them when I was in high school, but it was like Jell-O shots, and it was like, really? Like, is that real alcohol? And it's like 10 or 11% alcohol now that you... So I think they need to really look into where they're gonna do this, and, I mean, Cameron came in just for beer and wine. He didn't say he was gonna be selling, to me, he might have asked for a second class, but I think we need to have a description of what's what.
No, that's a.
All right, so they got the other two renewed.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Lucretia.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a
This is,
notice of public hearing for the zoning.
so when are we making this hearing?
November 14th.
So I'm gonna make a motion for us to move forward for a public hearing notice on zoning amendments, sections 120, 407, and 640. They are on the town website, if you look underneath Planning Commission at the bottom. If we can move it up to some front page or something like that, that you don't have to go through all the Planning Commission stuff. And there is a copy at the town hall for anyone that wants to see the copy at the town hall. So my motion is to set the public hearing notice for zoning amendments, sections 120, 407, and
Okay.
540.
All in favor of
November
14th
November 14th.
November
at
14th.
6:30. Please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we have the Declaration of Inclusion. We have some people here to speak to that.
Well, the committee was formed after the presentation was made to the select board. We had some volunteers. Jeannie Carlhuber, Jerry Russell, Matt Maservi, and who else? I forgot her name. Who was the one at the first meeting?
Yeah, me.
No, Bev Anderson was also part of it. And Andy Solomon is part of it as well. They had two meetings. The first meeting, they developed an inclusion statement. Basically, the group took the current inclusion statement that was created in Mendon and modified it to our uses. So they've included the inclusion committee minutes from the last meeting where they actually approved this to present to the select board. And then we have a copy of the declaration of inclusion that they recommended with signature lines, and if the select board were to adopt it today.
So we all know how,
Do you have questions?
yeah, I mean, how picky I am on when we get into these things, because this is something that you're asking me to sign. But paragraph number 1, the town of Killington condemns racism and discriminations in all forms and commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. I do that on my own, but then when I get to paragraph number 3, the town of Killington has been and will continue to be a place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions. I just think 1 and 3 contradict each other in this world that we live in today. So if somebody comes in and says something that offends, I mean, how do you give everyone place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions and then condemn it, if that's the way those people are? This is why I just don't, paragraph number 4, I don't even know why it's in there, because that's a handbook thing, and it's already there. So the town of Killington continues to adhere. You better be, you're the town manager.
Yeah.
But it acknowledges it.
Yeah, I get
Just
And
that.
it acknowledges the fact that we
That
do
it's
have a
already in
policy in
place.
place.
Yeah.
That the
That's the
policy
part I
is
say.
already in place.
I just,
I don't disagree with you on paragraph number 3. I didn't view it that way, but
I actually think paragraph number 3 kills paragraph number 1. So just take it that, you folks put a lot in here, but on one hand, I'm saying, the town of Killington condemns racism, discrimination in all forms and commits to a fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. I don't think we needed to get to paragraph number 3, because I just think number 3 contradicts number 1. And that's just me being almost like legal, whatever, reading a document. I think number 3 should be taken out. This is just a Town of Killington declaration of inclusion. And I think we should stick to the Town of Killington condemns racism, or maybe strives to, whatever, because I don't know if we can, but we condemn racism and discriminations in all its forms and commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. Leave that paragraph there. 2, our town strives to provide a safe and welcoming environment for all citizens and visitors. Leave that one there. 4, if you just want it, 4 becomes 3. The town of Killington continues to adhere to its existing employment and harassment policy as it pertains to all town municipal employees. That ends it, and then we jump into the adoption.
Okay. I have something.
Sure.
On the 3rd one, if you were to stop at where individuals can live freely and not include express their opinions, it would allow people that are of any race, color, creed, sexual orientation to live within
I
the
would agree with
town.
that.
But what we're not going to put up with is people that are saying and being racist and discriminatory.
Yeah, but-
Expressing their opinion.
Yeah, but
Expressing their opinion,
living.
one way or another. I mean,
but-
they
but-
could do
but
it by not
living-
letting someone into an establishment.
But living freely is a form of your expressions and opinions. That's why I just say, I think you nailed it, 1, 2, and 4.
And I can retype it. Yeah.
Jeannie, do you have any
I mean,
comments?
no, and this is me, and this is a process, and you folks, and I'm looking for you guys to jump in on this. I'm just telling you where I stand, that I think 3 contradicts 1.
I'm wondering if that 3rd section can be modified so that it's not so black and white, that,
Oh, I want this thing to be black and white.
No, but I mean where we just say it's all right to live however you want and say whatever you want. But if we, in some way said that the town of Killington encourages, I mean, I think there's reason for that basic concept to be in there, but maybe it just needs to be reworked.
It can come back
Yeah.
and bite you on the backside of it.
Yeah, that's all, I'm
can
just
reverse
throwing
on you,
out
that's all.
my opinion.
I think
And
you
I-
bring up a valid point.
You know, I just don't want to. I mean, Matt's on here, Kurt Peterson's in the waiting room, oh, you already hit him in.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Bob Harnish on here, you know, and I don't know who else is, if there's anybody else, if, Al, is Al in here,
I
or?
haven't seen him.
Okay.
Well, that sentence is taken word for word from this Vermont Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiative.
Right.
And it also, we did a pared-down version of that first section because we just felt it was kind of a laundry list of all the different kinds of things people. So it's interesting that the authors of this didn't feel that contradiction. I'm not saying that it's not there, but it's interesting that that hasn't.
I mean, I guess my question is me picking on that paragraph? Do you see where I'm coming from as a group?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I just don't want me to be the only one in this room that's looking at it that way. And I said this in the beginning, Andy, that number one is, I'm totally against anyone doing that, okay?
Yes.
But it's just, number three, all of a sudden just gives,
But number one, we commit to fair and equal treatment to everyone in our community.
no, I'm saying 1 and 2 and 4 are
But number
perfect.
three
What?
is
Who's
just,
that?
it
Matt.
simply states
wants
it's a
to
place where
say
people
something.
can live freely.
Well, how do you
But
live
express
freely if
themselves,
all of a sudden I say the N-word, or I call she, or I call it or them a she or a him, and they don't like it? And then all of a sudden,
Then we get into this thing about having to enforce it and how we're going to do that, and that's what we tried to avoid.
right, so basically, that's why I'm saying here, I'm not, I can't enforce 3. 1, the town of Killington, as a town select board member, I condemn racism and discrimination in all its forms and commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. But I don't even, it's just a declaration, but this other one just contradicts. I mean, you
Well,
go
it
to
actually
Matt.
has his hand
contradicts
up.
number
Yeah.
2, too, because a safe and welcoming environment is the same thing where we can live freely. So actually, it contradicts 2, too, really.
Well, I would rather leave that there.
Well, it says it
2,
strives.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying leave that there, but.
Yeah, no, I said 1, 2, and 4.
Let's,
Let Matt go.
Matt has his hand up. Let's, no, just let him come in.
Well, Matt,
Matt, go ahead. He's not
You're muted.
unmuted. Hands up, but he's not unmuted.
He took his hand down. Check chat.
He took his hand down.
Matt, do you have anything to say?
his PC's blocking his microphone. I agree with Jim, let's simplify it more.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you just take this back and just work on?
Thank you, Matt. We did see your chat.
You know? I think if I have 1, 2, and 3 here, then I just come into the next meeting and say, you know, I'll sign it. That, I mean, it's just like number.
We could always amend it, correct?
If you could come back and amend it to try to get something, but you know where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
You know.
We don't want to end up with something that's confusing or contradictory, and then it sort of neutralizes with all the efforts that were made to, I mean, I don't know whether, for example, to say has been and will continue to be a place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions consistent with.
I just think number 1 already says it. And commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. It says it. But then, you know, that's just saying equal and fair treatment. But number 4 just gets into getting, number 3 starts getting into about expressing their opinions and living freely. Next thing, we'll start having gun conversations coming into an inclusion
Yeah,
comment.
I think that's valid.
You know, I'm sorry. Just me looking at it.
No, I think
as-
it's-
I have a question, it's a little offline, but maybe concerning what you just said. From what I understand, this is an open carry state? And so can somebody come in this meeting with a gun?
In this town, yes.
Okay, thank you.
and concealed.
Oh, okay.
There's only two towns or cities in the state of Vermont that you're not allowed to have a concealed weapon. One is Rutland City and one is Burlington.
Thank you.
This building may be a little different since it's a government building.
Why are you
Oh, it's
asking
local
that
government,
for
that's
God's
right.
It's not a federal building,
Somebody's got a bulge in his pocket, I don't know what it is.
Okay,
you know?
Stay away from it.
so I'll ask them to come in. Do you think the November 14th
You
meeting
know,
would be
just-
too soon?
So we should meet again.
That is our next meeting, is November 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to either agree to strike 4 or push
Strike
the other
3.
2, strike
If
3.
you guys right now said you were just gonna strike it and leave the other 3, they could
I
vote.
think you want to talk about it.
May I just make a comment on the format?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a big space here for your signatures, that's what that's there for.
Right.
You have one with the signatures.
But I told
Oh, okay.
Ours
you
is-
they would do it
Ours-
officially, not the way I did it.
I know, but I have yours.
No, that's okay. Ours is lined up with the
How about
names
You could
printed
freely
in so
express
you
your
can read
feelings.
who it is.
Unless I pop
And
them
you're
on
already,
that.
yeah, you're already arguing over that.
Okay.
So
Okay,
that's
so
all.
we
Thank
should,
you, I'll look at that. That's on the website right now?
to make it proper, we should,
No, I'll get up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, you don't get up.
so
I
to
let the
make
old
this
man get up.
proper, we should meet again.
A
Is
young
that what you're
kid
telling us?
can sit there.
Well,
I had brats
what
like
I'm
you
saying
too.
is for us to sign it, it needs to be
It's gotta
on the
be
agenda.
2
And our
hours.
next meeting is November 14th.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
So if you all could get together and re-present it,
okay,
we would be able to take action at that time if we were in agreement.
okay. So there's 3 of us here, so.
And Matt's online.
Matt's on.
So
So
Matt,
the
so
4 of
Matt-
us will meet again,
yeah.
and then I'll get another version to you way before the 14th.
So Chet, you're gonna call
Be great.
another meeting for our committee?
Yeah, basically,
Your committee?
is it like Wednesday at 1 again, and I'll
Yes.
check with, and I'll send out a meeting and invite again.
There's a second chat. It might be Matt that can't get his microphone going. Why not vote on the declaration as it is, and if it fails, modify it? Because there's no reason to do that.
No, I don't want to vote it down.
No.
Because it's something we want to
Well,
work
then that will
out.
be bad, because
think
then
we
it will
wanna
hit,
support it.
because then the Mountain Times will print, the board shut down and voted no. Thanks,
That'll be the
Kurt.
headline.
Okay,
Monfort,
light's gonna go on,
Monfort, you had your
watch out.
hand up?
so we will,
Yeah, I have a question. Whatever is down black and white, obviously other towns, are daily checking article number 3 also? Is
Well, this is what we have put together. Other towns don't have exactly the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's kind of taking one document and trying to, put it into their own.
Yeah.
And streamline it
And
also.
streamline it a little bit, I just,
And really, the shorter and the simpler, the better, and the less words, I think, too. And nobody can misconstrue it. So the plan is you will send out another meeting notice, we'll meet on Monday, and I'll write this up again. And we'll get it.
Include Beverly in that.
and I just want to be clear, I'm not looking for 1 or 2 or 4 to be changed, okay?
Right.
okay.
Want to ask Bob if he's okay, or if he has any input? Bob Harnish?
Is he on?
Yeah,
He's
the
on
second
there, he's
one.
muted.
Bob, do you have anything you want to say while you're here?
No, it sounds like you've thought it through, and we'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so,
Thank you for your time. All it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for this, Jim. Thank you. This one.
next we're going to department presentations for budget, if you want to sit through those.
Well, I'll sit through the
I can
rest.
go home and fall asleep.
The auditing is the best one. You should stick around for that one.
Yeah. Okay, first one being select board.
Well, just a little background. Mark has spent quite a bit of time. He basically put together a 5-year average for all of the different budget line items, so we could actually start to look at trends and see what we have been hitting on the button and what we haven't. So we've spent some time making some of those edits, looking for any anomalies and things that have been trending a different way.
You know what I'm gonna do here because Mark's got all this stuff here. What if we take these 2 chairs out of here and just roll his table in here?
Roll them in.
You don't want to roll in there, Mark?
Right on camera.
All right.
No, I'm just spreading out because there's no one here.
He's gonna stay over there. He's gonna stay there.
It's okay.
So for the select board, basically, the only real change is the $500 extra for recording secretary, because that's based on last year's actual. So the total budget last year was $13,000, and it's $13,500 for the proposed 2024 budget. You know, we're going to stick to primarily the simple ones tonight, and we'll get into the ones that have more meat to them at the next meeting. Sarah did come in tonight to present the recreation budget as it stands. This is unfortunately the last budget she's going to be doing for the town. Sarah, you still there?
She's there.
I am here, yes.
There she is. Okay. So you can bring us through any of the major changes. I mean, from a revenue perspective, it's relatively flat.
It is similar. What I added was a line item for leagues, since we've been growing adult sports. That's specifically the leagues we're looking at. So with the addition of the ice hockey rink, having adult leagues, having pickleball leagues, we've got a big demand. And not charging a lot, but just something that's going to be ongoing, and over the year we think we can draw some revenue from that. And that was something we talked about as a source of revenue to offset the program coordinator position. Otherwise, the revenue stays pretty much the same. And
So,
for
On
questions about revenue?
Yeah, on the revenue, basketball budgeted 500, actual 0. Did nobody sign up for basketball?
Last year and the year before, the district
because
did
of
not
COVID.
allow
Okay,
youth athletics inside the building
okay,
with volunteers outside of the school, employees.
okay.
But I've already heard from parents that there's interest in basketball this year, and our signups.
Yeah, that was gonna be my
Go.
next question, so.
Yeah. Griffin will attend the Rutland district meeting the first week of November, and then signups are already set up on our end. They go live automatically in about a week.
Okay.
So Sarah, my question to you would be, because I'm new at this part, when you look at the program coordinator, you're looking for those costs to be covered through revenue generated through fees?
It wasn't completely covered because there were some things, like, for example, previously we already had $11,000 in the budget for not a program coordinator, but it was another administrative summer person, and we had $11,560 for the aquatics manager. So that also rolled into that. So those things were already in our budget. So for that $22,000, and then I don't want to overestimate how quickly we can grow our revenue, but that was one way we were looking to do it, was through leagues.
So I think your question was, the revenue is not supposed to, in the rec department, offset the expenses. It's supposed to
No.
I was just thinking of the coordinator, that's all I was
Yeah.
asking.
It's supposed to be,
Okay.
And it won't.
Nope.
Maybe
Probably should.
in a few years, as rec is growing, we're just not even meeting demand. So the hope is, as we are meeting demand and getting ahead of things, that there'll be more opportunities for revenue.
How are you feeling, as you depart and run away, I'll get that in there. How are you feeling staff-wise going into next year in terms of number of counselors you needed? And how many holes you had, and looking at the continued growth of the programming?
Absolutely. We would hire more staff and more experienced staff if we could grab more teachers or anyone who had experience with camp. That would be a huge asset to our summer programs, and we would grab more lifeguards. There was a report put out recently around camps, that even camps that offered a lot more salary, there just weren't staff available, or people were really burned out, teachers, et cetera, the ones that camps rely on. So, but as far as staffing goes, we could use more.
And how
year-round, I think we're good.
How many people, I would agree with you there, and how many people did you actually turn away this summer that could not participate? Do you have any numbers there?
Yeah, there were 38 people on our wait list. And so that's a good number of,
And how many were participating? Like, how many what did you consider a cap? So you had 38 that wanted to get in, but where were you?
Yeah, so we took 60, which is the same we took the previous year, but way above
Okay.
numbers we had for many other years. So the camp was kind of running around 40 for a good number of years.
Yep. And how many more counselors would you need in order to fulfill the requests of 38 more people?
Depends on the age. For a older elementary school, it's 10-1. For younger, we do 7-1 or 5, in some cases 5-1. It depends. So there's a lot of changing of clothes, which is hard with the little ones. So I prefer a lower ratio, but usually if you can get good experienced staff and then supplement with junior counselors, then I consider a brand new junior counselor, 2 of them is almost like 1 full-time staff. So or not full-time, but experienced staff. So a 7-1 is a okay ratio if you have some junior counselors.
Now, the other question is on that 38, was that all summer long? Like, would that be all the weeks of the camp, or is that split? Like, what would the actual staffing need be for the whole summer? Is it 2? Is it 3 more, not 6 more? Like, that's my...
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point, Chet. Some of those families wanted all summer and some wanted just a few weeks. And we also lost a few families who could get their older kids into, let's say, Green Mountain Movers, which was a huge success, but couldn't get a third of their child into the youngest group, and therefore they took their whole family to another camp because they were, they couldn't drop kids left, right, and center all over the place. So
how many?
If we have more space, but to Chet's point, I think we could have opened a whole nother camp, a whole nother group of 7 to 10 kids every single week. So that would be 2 counselors, essentially, if they were of a similar age group. If they were younger, that would be another 3 counselors every single week.
And out of the people that were denied, how many of them are Killington residents?
A good number. Because it was opened up first come, first served. Now, we did receive, and we reviewed this at the Rec Commission meeting, and it's in our notes, but we heard feedback from people who were homeowners but not residents who were upset because they are property tax payers that help, fund the rec department, and they were unable to get in. And we heard from people who live in the community who were upset that they couldn't get in as well. Like, so some were suggesting if we go to the school, we should get first dibs on camp, and some people were suggesting if I'm a taxpayer, I should get first dibs on the program. We did decide that we would still open it up, but that at the time we always do, but that we would let the community know, and also just work really hard to not have to turn anyone away.
So the turning away people really is based on the amount of people you can hire. So let's get down to the page 2 of 2 for the expenditures. And I have to put my phone to it because I can't. But I have a budget of 2022 of 218,743, I believe, for 2022.
Total expenses, yes.
Yeah, and then the actual was 230. The 2023 was 255, and now we're going to 287, 539. So instead of me going line item by line item through here, is that building for hoping that we have to take care of those extra employees? Is that built in there, or is it built off of the same amount of employees you have this year?
So,
Budget number's the same.
yeah, the budget number is the same. The hope is to get more employees. We did increase so our original budget number was to hope to increase, knowing that $15 minimum wage was coming like supposedly 2 years down the road. Now with
That we had that
the
in this
market,
current-
everything has blown that out of the water. So that's what we paid our
Went
employees
to
this
11,
year.
13, 15.
So
My goal
23.
is to
24
bring
is the
on
total 15.
the same number of staff with less. I filled in a lot with our young staff, and the hope is to actually bring on not less young staff, but that we would have more strong counselors, experienced counselors, and then we have where they're able to, do that 10-to-1 ratio for the older kids.
Yeah, so all I'm getting at is that if we know that we've turned away X and X amount of people, and we know we have calls coming in from second homeowners, that I do agree, they do pay taxes, and the offset of the, over the expense on this to run it is higher than the revenue, is done by property taxes, okay? All I'm getting to is that 287, because, I mean, it is small, the print here for me. I'm just looking at that, and I'm seeing we're going from 255 to 287, and is 287 really the right number then for you? If you were still here in '24, or would, to accomplish what you think we should accomplish by bringing on and accepting more, is the 287 really the right number? I just don't want to put somebody into a new position and then they have something that's not really.
Could I make one comment?
Handcuffed.
I think this will, if you look at what's projected for the budget of 2024, you have a 25% increase in 4th of July alone. You have 4 times on new projects go from 2,000 to 10,000. You got another 1,000 thrown into pool supplies and chemicals. You have almost doubling of field and maintenance supplies. And you're up again on pool utilities based on what's there.
And Chris has glasses on.
Right.
Hey, that makes me smarter than you.
Yeah, yes, it does. It does.
Sarah, my point, this is where I'm trying to round it out to, Sarah, is we have demand out there, okay? And I think we need to meet the demand, and I think what we have to do is get creative. Like, we had a soccer league in town this year, and this is the first time it's ever happened, okay, where we actually had to have an A and a B team because there's so many kids showing up, okay? So that way they get playing time. So now, when does Killington ever have 2 teams, okay? So now all of a sudden, now these kids are going to be going up through the system. We have to take care of this all the way through. My suggestion is, I think we need to look at increasing staffing here for one, and I think we have to get creative with staffing. And, part of my suggestion was even, I don't know where you get everybody, but I would think about renting a summer house or something maybe, and attracting kids to be able to come here and work as a counselor and have the ability for lodging, so that they will come here.
So that kind of goes back to where I was driving at. I don't see any increase in our.
There's none.
In the staffing.
most of the increases are to inflation on certain things, chemicals and everything else.
Chemicals and 4th of July.
Right, because I can't, I wasn't smart enough that it's budget season to bring my glasses.
Can't see it. You just can't see it.
You know, but I just
Well,
picturing
Can I just
it.
add one thing about the budgets is that, or about the counselors, is that we spent in total for the 35,100 and the 8,000 together totals 43,000. Last year we spent 41,000. So we still have room to hire some more counselors. That's why the budget didn't shift if we were able to bring on. But I can absolutely put more in, more money in. We just couldn't even use all of the budget we had because we couldn't find more people.
But you couldn't find more people because we were maybe looking for the not seasoned, as you're talking now, moving forward, employees. And in order to get more seasoned, you're talking of probably a higher rate per hour. So I just, I don't know.
And no one can afford to be up here. So to me, I think I mean, get back on my soapbox, it's like, look, let's get them a house. Let's provide lodging to these people.
I'm wondering if, with the resort acquisitions, if we could rent out some of their summer stuff.
Why not?
Well, Chris had
They've got
mentioned
3
that.
hotels.
Yes. Like, I think we have to start getting creative. I've talked about this even in terms of highway department, okay? If we're gonna win this game, we've gotta go out there and put all in. And I think that we have a great program. Look at how it's grown. Again, we used to not be able to field a team. Now we're fielding 2 teams. So let's go. This is our chance.
So Sarah, when we talk about like the total number that you had this year working on your camps and things like that, and if you added the 3 or 4 people that you're thinking, have you done it where you say, here's how many hours they work, times their rates, and see if you could have all the people you wanted, you know, and actually applied schedule to them and said, it's going to be this much an hour at this many hours, and what that is for the summer. Have we looked at it from that perspective to say, you know, so that then at least we're looking at, this is our desired goal, this would be, if it worked correctly, what we would have for an expense?
So realistically, if I wanted to try and even pull in a few teachers, I would have to, I think I would have to pay $20 an hour, and I would get, and then I'd have to add another $5,000 to the budget.
And all I'm saying is, why not?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can definitely do
Get 38
that.
more people in, it almost offsets.
No, that's what I'm saying, why not? That's all.
And we're making the taxpayers and the residents of this town happy.
So one of the things Chris has brought up for this board to do is to sit down during this budget season with each one of the groups. So when does the rec meet again? You're not gonna be with them, I'm sure, but when does the rec department meet again?
Monday, November 7th.
You know, is it a time where, you know, we
At
sit
7
down or call them in during the, you know, like just, instead of us, the rec department really isn't, I mean, the committee is a committee. Can we get them to commit to a time before our next, you know, this is our first look at the budget, but why don't we sit as a board with these folks? Kind of like a little bit more up on top of like looking at a building there, you know, they got outside, they got grass and soccer fields and baseball fields.
Yeah, but they have.
No, they have the pool or whatever.
Walk to the pool
But I
house.
think we should sit down but then go over and have this discussion with that rec department and saying, this is where the board's coming from, what do you know, I think they would appreciate that. You sit in on that.
I take the minutes.
You take the minutes, so.
I think they would appreciate that, because I think our conversations from the rec standpoint are about where Lisa Davis and I were working on a municipal planning grant that would help us bring in someone who would look at the next 10 to 20-year plan for recreation. Serve, hire a consultant who's going to ask the community what they want, and then be able to use funds efficiently to meet demand. And so you're talking about it as well, and so it'd be good if everyone was talking together about meeting demand and what does the community need.
So why don't we just, I don't see anything wrong with this budget right now, but it's the way it always goes anyway, then we wait till towards the end of the budget talks to really go through. But can we just get a meeting with the rec department and actually give them a little...
When you say rec department, you talk about the commission?
The commission?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and just give them a little synopsis of what we just, where we're thinking about, and, and Sarah, if you can just put down those issues that you have seen and where you'd like to go with, the more senior, whatever, teacher, whatever, and the $20, so we have kind of a roadmap there.
That'd be great.
All right?
Yes, definitely can do.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Is Lucretia doing the treasurer portion?
Yeah, Lucretia.
She's there.
She ducks back into camera view. What were you doing?
She puts on her...
I was filing.
I don't know.
So we have treasurer up right now.
Oh, okay, treasurer. You didn't,
Basically, it's the continuing ed and the 2%.
right.
Is all, and that's what we've done across the board, just for the beginning discussion on salaries, is the 2% that we've done in the past.
Good job, Lucretia, thank you.
Did great. We're all about it.
Well, we got clerk coming up, that's much more
Does
complicated.
she also do bookkeeping?
No, actually, Mark can do the bookkeeping.
Mark will do the bookkeeping?
Because
Okay.
he does have the staff edition that we were talking about.
Okay.
Thanks,
Well,
Lucretia.
Well, while we have Lucretia here, what is the next up on?
If she has clerk and BCA, if you want to skip to
Yeah, why don't we
those.
just...
Let's go to clerk and BCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so clerk, I think the only change as well is the salary, and then, I don't know what real estate's gonna do. I think we're gonna stay pretty busy, so I expect revenues to stay about the same. And the only bump is in the continuing ed. I added in $2,000 for recertification, for certification and recertification programs. I spoke to you all about this last year, about wanting to set up an incentive for certification. And I set up, I came up with a plan of when you become certified as a Vermont clerk or Vermont treasurer, you would get a $500 incentive bonus, if you will. And then as a clerk, if you go for your certified municipal clerks certification, which takes a little while. Just to give you an idea, these certifications take anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And it's not an annual thing that's going to take place. So as a certified clerk or a certified treasurer, you would get a $500, if you get that certification, you'd get a $500 bonus. Then if you get your master municipal clerk certification, which is something, it took me, my goodness, about, after the initial one, it took me another 7 years to get that. So that would be so that's why I put I put 750 as an incentive on that one. And then there are recertifications with on the Vermont side, which is basically every 5 years, and it would be 250 each time. There are also fees that are associated with these certifications. They're not that expensive on the Vermont side. They're only maybe, I want to say, $50. But for the certified municipal clerk and the master municipal clerk, you're looking at fees that run in the $250 mark. So those fees would get paid out of that budget line.
So
how is-
total, you're going from 147, 375 to 153, whatever
Right.
the rest is. So I've got a question on just one of the line items, and it's not really to Lucretia, it's to Mark and Chet. Telephone. I mean, are we really gonna break out the different offices in the building? There's $600 here, I believe.
That is cell phone stipend, whatever you call them, reimbursements.
Okay, so then instead of putting it on telephones, I think it should be worded something else, because when someone looks at telephones,
Or we
they
can
think
put it to
of,
stipend then.
you know, which there should be for their phones if they're using them for whatever.
Yeah, it's for their
Oh, yeah.
department, for
No,
email
no,
and things like that.
no, I know
So
you,
just we can
I know you
what's that?
do.
Why do they need cell phones?
If you use your own personal cell phone, there's always been a cell phone reimbursement. It's $50 a month, $600 for the year. That's if you're getting email and all things on your phone.
So
Is
for
what's
now,
been
we're just
there.
going through everything, but that telephone should be put down to
Stipends or
stipends and then put in there parentheses of
reimbursement.
reimbursement of cell
Yes,
phones
it
or
doesn't get
whatever.
caught up with the others.
Right, okay.
You know,
Astronomical.
because then you're gonna have Chris and I sitting here going, what do you mean, there's $600 in telephone? I thought we fixed this telephone thing.
Got it.
That's what I thought right away. Why is it telephone? It's not telephone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucretia, on that one. So what's your next one, BCA?
The BCA, I think, is staying the same, 5,000. I mean, we haven't had a lot of appeals, so it's pretty much been elections that the BCA has been, getting together and helping with. So not really, again, we never know what next year will bring, but if there's appeals, it's always going to cross over a year anyway. So you've got
Right.
this year's budget and next year's budget,
Okay.
depending on how.
Does it roll forward?
Nothing rolls forward. The only
It's
thing
gonna
that,
happen when they really have to happen.
Well, if we're doing, I would argue that if we are going to, whichever year we're going to do the reappraisal, we're gonna have to go back and look at what the actuals were for that year, and we're gonna have to bump it for that year, would be my guess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
yep.
Because it's going to be off the charts comparatively.
We're gonna have to give $5,000 per board member on the
It's gonna be
BCA.
more lucrative to do that than be a selectman.
It would be.
All right, so we did Town Clerk and BCA, right?
Yeah, so
Yep.
Lucretia's off the hook.
Yeah, okay, we go back.
Thank you.
Got you out early.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Now we have we're going back to bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping and secretarial.
Yep.
So basically, the change in this budget is the staff accountant we've been talking about, adding an accountant to be able to help with the golf course. One of the things that we are discussing is part of that, because the lion's share, or at least 50% of this position, will be doing golf accounting, and the question then becomes, is that going to become an expense to the golf course? Are we going to look at that from a revenue perspective and have a certain amount of money come from the golf side to
Yes.
this position? So this is one of the things that we're looking at, like, it is a need. I mean, Mark's spending all his time doing a lot of bookkeeping for the golf course, and we want to make that adjustment. Plus, then ultimately, we're going to have additional, hopefully, utilities to deal with that are going to be part of this process, as in water systems and things like that. So I'm trying to get on the front side of it, and we do have enough work to keep the whole person busy, but it will be to some degree, and that will be something that we have to determine what's going to be offset by golf.
So yeah, I mean, it has to go to golf, and that's the way this thing was set up, that it pays for itself on those things. My question to Mark is, you're a senior accounting person, and it's taking 50% of your time. If you bring in somebody at a low, it's still just gonna be 50% of their time.
It's seasonal by nature, too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's never been any accounting done for the golf course. Serious accounting, no inventories.
So-
Everything was just expensed. When we buy our inventory in April, we blow it through, that's it.
So what I'm getting at is on
So-
this accounting side, we really hired your position on to get into the full town budget,
Yes.
okay, and then that's going to include this TIF if we ever get there, okay, or when, all right? Now, we're gonna say, bring in a person, and they're gonna be working, doing what you're doing that takes 50% of your time. I don't wanna get somebody in here that is gonna be doing stuff, and it still takes 25% of your time to go over their 50%
Believe me, that's in
of
the
time.
selection of the individual, you gotta hire some talent.
Well, so what I'm getting at is we have to have this
Yeah.
person to be the right person. And,
And you would at least, if you set that, I mean, you pick a number, who you're gonna bring in at the 50,000 level for an
Right.
annual salary. Easily 35,000 could be charged to the golf course as a line item expense, and the revenue would counter in the town revenue and offset most of this person.
right.
Most of your time, though, up until this year, Mark, as I understood it, was trying to figure out what had gone on in the past.
A lot of it.
Okay, so we have no revenue coming in right now. Yes, we're still working off of a budget to figure out our expenses or how we're gonna purchase capital and other items moving forward, but I would think that the demand would start to lessen a lot now, because you've got it organized.
Totally hope so.
Yes.
Because I built all
Right.
the templates.
But I think in
for
the
it.
same time too, we have to hold a little bit of Brown Golf, or whatever they're called now, to the fire. Like, these are the numbers we expect you to turn into us. Like, don't just give us a pile of cash and say, yeah, that's what we did today.
They don't do the accounting. They send us, they have the Club Caddy system. They run the Club Caddy on a day-to-day basis. And of course, there's your revenue and cash deposits.
Right. So off of that
That's it.
POS.
That's what you get.
But
That's
off
it.
of that POS, you should be able to allocate where it goes, fairly easy.
It is a lot cleaner now than it was 12 months ago.
Good.
I can tell you that.
I guess my question
But
is.
that's all the accounting they do. They don't pay bills. They
That's
do
okay.
payroll
And
in
then-
a payroll system and HR, so they're able to generate that, and then they send me a bill, lump sum for their payrolls, right? My department.
Yeah, my question goes more to this position, not what they're gonna do, because I know what you do, and I now really know what Brown Golf doesn't do, and what's in their contract not to do. And we chose that because we don't wanna hand them our checkbook.
Right.
So we have to do this. This is a $1.1 million, $1.2 million business now.
Yeah.
Okay, and is, for the last year and a half or whatever, and then how much time Lucretia put into this in the previous years, okay? I'm just trying to get some kind of document, but she didn't have your accounting.
Yeah, the resource wasn't there.
Are you going to be able to get a person for this job at that dollar? Or are you gonna still have to be, not babysitting, but yeah, this person?
I could see still doing top level, the capital planning, the capital cycles.
I would agree. You're not gonna find anybody, they're not gonna be able to do
You can't
You have to
capital.
teach them his system,
But
how he put everything.
I think you're
in.
gonna find someone to do the minutia, the small stuff where you're
Absolutely.
chasing down nickels and dimes.
Posting journal entries.
Please,
and
go get the stuff.
Post all the
Yep,
bills.
I would
and,
agree.
And every time they send you a day's sale, it's a 15-minute, 20-minute entry in a journal entry. I
So-
don't need to do those.
So when we.
I just need them done right.
Yeah. So when we do this $50,000 position, and $35,000 you can say is this person here, how much time is Lucretia still putting in on her side of entering the cash as a treasurer and everything else?
All she does is balance the cash.
Okay, so,
I'm entering it all.
so how much time is going
Based on the
into,
daily report.
but how much time is going through her and then providing, who's doing the treasurer's report and these other reports?
Lucretia's doing the treasurer's report, which is extracting the information from NIMRIC. Okay, just saying, here's what the cash is, here's what each department is. Monica is currently doing the deposits for the golf course. She actually does the deposits, and then Mark is taking it from there and allocating it to its
Just
funds.
put the job out as a $50,000 job with benefits and charge it all to Brown, because I'm telling you, we're probably spending 50 grand worth of employee time doing this. And if there is any extra time to do something else, then there it is.
What I will say is the other thing that we have not done in the past that is in the budget for this year on their side, we didn't put it on the revenue side, is the 2 sewer districts have not paid for any administrative costs for the last however many years. The budget that we worked on for like the Route 4 sewer last year, there was $7,500 put in for admin for that and $2,500 in for the other. So there should be another $10,000 coming from the 2 sewer districts.
But what I'm
For these
getting at
items.
is that this one person then could be doing these different things. And I'm not a finance hiring person, but if they're telling you now golf, okay, you get what you want, golf, and then sewer, and another sewer, and something else, is there a big jump between a $50,000 position level person to the next 10K up?
I think we're
We won't
okay
know
at
until you
50.
get out
Yeah.
the market, Jim.
Yeah,
I think
We're okay at 50.
yeah, okay.
because I think we're going to grow incrementally. I mean, it'll go pretty quickly, but
I want someone to
we'll
grow
see
with
where
us
they
too.
are.
But if you're gonna, so then you get back to if it's 35 or 40 or whatever from Brown, and then, or from the golf course, and then you take the other things there, I think that position's probably gonna turn into, because it's, you know, now is Mona in one of those sewer things that you're talking about?
Mona is currently the one doing the 2 sewers.
So
The
this,
two sewers, so we're not taking anything away from Mona unless.
no, but this
you have-
person should learn all of the systems associated with it.
Right.
Because it's the one thing that like, especially the Route 4 sewer happens at a bad time of year for Mona.
Right.
Because the bill goes out in September.
Yeah.
You know, so she's got to calculate, get all the information, get the tax bills out, and then she's tracking. And the other thing is, you know, is if somebody, because she does all the delinquent taxes for the town, and then she does it for each sewer district. You know what I mean? So it's like, it'd be great if she had to watch.
Yeah.
The
All I
one
was
main
saying
item
is that
Sewer
when you-
districts.
We have Alpine Drive, which is a really
Oh,
little
we
one.
got the other one.
Yeah, the little one, the Alpine, the Route 4 and the Alpine Drive, which is the
Right.
little one. But it's still a pain in the neck.
Yep.
All I was getting at is that when you said we weren't counting this other money.
Right.
I was saying, but then once you said it's money, we're not taking anything away from,
Oh, no. This is just a revenue source that
Okay.
we have not used before.
okay.
So we should be in pretty,
Okay, good enough.
Okay.
And then once again, the telephones in here are just
That's the same thing.
the same thing, so just reword that?
Yep.
Okay.
Which one's next?
On the
continuing
list-
education, we budget
Auditing.
1,200.
For which?
Continue in, under bookkeeping.
Is that
Yeah.
enough, Mark? If you're gonna be bringing a new person on that?
Yeah, that's why it is, that's why I left it alone,
Okay,
it should be there.
okay.
No, I just want to,
They were asking if
We
it
just
needed to
wanna
be
make sure
more.
it gets-
Well, the
Is it
key
enough?
The key is to use it as well.
Yeah.
or do we incentivize people too to use it?
Like Alicia wants to do.
We want it to be better.
Like when you get the different
I don't think,
certifications.
I
Yeah.
think in bookkeeping, instead of, no, they need to learn the system, so they've got to take the education on the system. It's not incentivized, it's here's the class, take it.
Right, well, typically, everything that we do within NIMRIC is charged to our accounting software line item, like, they will bill us for different things they come and do special for us. That hasn't been, this would be something outside of that for training.
Auditing?
Auditing, basically, looking at the last 3 years, there was 2 years where they did the billing, we had 2 high years and 1 low year. But the average, and based on what we're looking at now, it's just up $2,000. And the print last year actuals were close to 3,200 for the sending out the town report, so those are just based on 3-year actuals.
I just
But
like,
this year, we're going to get it out on time. so we don't have to print it
Well,
out.
the report's supposed to be ready this week, that we're supposed to get the draft.
Well, the other thing was, is the print, we still can't send it to the printer until we warn the thing, and we did that next day, and we are going to tighten up the contract with them a bit.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I'm
one of
saying.
the issues that we had last year,
Running them off wasn't exactly.
one of the other issues we had is because of COVID,
Right.
and the postal service is still now short-staffed.
Right.
That if you talk to them, the way we sent them out in the
You're right.
mailing,
The
they
bulk.
can sit in the warehouse
It's been for a
over
long time.
in White River or whatever.
Yeah.
They're allowed to sit there for like 90 days.
Right.
And just when they have somebody come around, they say, okay, get these out, get these. So they came in waves, and some people got their reports way after. So I would up the budget
Yep.
to not send them in bulk and send them to,
Send them out.
Get the other
send them
postage.
out the right postage, so they get them within the 2 or
I
3
agree.
days.
Okay.
But I'm also just gonna say, like, for auditing or whatever, let's just put this off to the side, because it's a contract, and let's get through these other, and then just pull Mark into an executive session for contracts.
Okay.
Listing,
Listers, the adjustments are actual for contracted services, which is the companies that provide I can't think of it, the tax maps and things of that nature, and the managing our software for our website. So that just became actuals, and we just added the 2% for the salaries. Those were the two changes.
and this has nothing to do with the new reappraisal that's due, because it's the following year?
That's correct.
Or I think Butch has been pushing for.
Well, and that's the question we have to confirm with him, is if we're gonna push it for this year, then we're gonna have to
It's not,
update
it's a
this.
discussion between the select board.
Right.
Not with them on which way we go.
No, I understand, but as part of the budget process, we have to
Yeah.
determine
Yeah.
when do you want to actually undertake it.
Okay.
Okay.
Tax collections,
And tax collections is basically keep the numbers the same. We haven't had to use much. I would expect that this year we will, because we are going to do the one tax sale, and then we're going to be doing potentially others in the spring.
okay.
So we will be using those funds.
So then we have a debt service analysis proposal.
Basically, you have your debt, the bonded debt indebtedness on the last sheet.
Right,
This past year, and this was making no changes to any items that would be purchased or added. This was looking at apples and apples, not any change to debt service from the golf course from this year to what that would be, and it would go from 795 to 772.
so,
Then following years, when we see a $183,000 drop-off, Mark has a program that we have, the list where we can look at the drop-off, because there are two bonds that will be matured at that point.
so Mark, when we say this is going down, this is also pulling out what Green Mountain National is paying on their own right now, even though there is the debt there?
What this shows is, the town is still making the same contribution as we did this year.
Okay,
So the Green Mountain is paying for the 25 and the 35.
right,
Those are the small loans.
So that's the
large loan,
that's the
that's about
seven.
$1.70.
right. So
Green
Green,
Mountain's paying 70 of that, and the town's paying $1.14, round numbers.
okay, good enough, that's what I needed.
So
to
that's
know.
what it's scheduled for next year.
Right, okay. So that concludes what we have in the budget stuff right now. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Nope.
Kyle, I'm sorry. Anybody online? So I'd like
I
just,
don't think they could follow that.
yeah, I don't know either, so. So basically to do Mark, a favor here, or not a favor, but he's been up or whatever, and he's here. If we can just go into executive sessions for contracts and go into the other room while everybody stays here, so then he can leave after this, okay?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion at 7:52 to go in executive session for contracts.
Second.
Okay.
Motion to come out of executive session at 7:59.
Okay.
No action taken. Thanks a lot for your time, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
So we tabled the town planner and the zoning administrator to the next,
Yep.
when planning is back in town.
Yep.
Okay? So,
So we're up to the manager's report.
The only thing I wanted to bring to your attention, I gave you a document, it's a FEMA document. Basically, they're doing mapping again for the Otter Creek watershed. We're not impacted, we're not listed, but it is, if you wanted to give comment or go learn about what they're doing. The only portion of the town of Killington that provides any runoff to the Otter Creek watershed is off of the Pico side.
Okay.
Everything else is in the White River side of it. So it doesn't really impact us, and we are doing our FEMA work with the local hazard mitigation plan, and you will be seeing that at the end of November, beginning of December to accept.
So page 2, paragraph 3, stay away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no,
Well aware, all I feel is obligated to show you the paper.
All I feel obligated to say, stay away. Flood mapping.
Okay.
And that's it for tonight. Been a short week.
Okay.
You know, any other
We
citizens?
have, Patrick? We still have 2 people with us. Do you guys have anything that we didn't get to before we move on? Unmute yourself, or, okay, there's Whit. Go ahead, Whit.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
thanks.
Hey, Matt, do you have my phone number? Oh, you can't, you
can't
get,
respond, yeah.
try to call Town Hall tomorrow if you don't have my phone number and get it, all right?
Chat.
I need to get a hold of you. Thanks, Matt.
Okay.
Just the only other item under other business, when do we want to do the visits to these sites later this week or into next week, and what days work better for you guys? Is it mornings, afternoons? Is there any days that are bad?
So whatever you guys may,
referring to?
earlier would be better
Like,
for me.
we're gonna go visit each of the facilities so that while you're going through the budget process, especially on the capital side, to be able to understand exactly what we're talking about.
Well, my thing is I'm scheduled for work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
I'm good at any time, if it's just Chris and I walking through or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really do think the 3 of us need to get together along with the town manager and Mark and actually really understand the capital plan when things start dropping off. Because we do have our sustainable budget that we've talked about and seeing how it's actually going to work.
Right.
And some things dropping off and some things being replaced with that money, so we stay at the same tax rate while we get other things fixed and done.
But I would anticipate
So-
that probably in an afternoon, next Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, because Mark and I are going to spend this week getting all of the possibilities up on the sheet so that you can look at all the different pieces.
So Steve, what works best for you? He said Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week, and what time for
No, he
that?
works those days.
No, those
I
are
know.
the days I work.
I thought you said
But
also
I'm
you and
done
Mark
at
would like.
4 o'clock.
I'm talking about if we met like at 4 o'clock
Yeah.
to do that discussion.
Yeah, okay.
No, that works fine.
So
I'm just
how
talking about
you
for
next
visits are
week,
different.
Next week,
And does that interfere with anything that we're doing? I don't even know what next week is.
we're wide open, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have a Thursday 8:30 AM meeting. and
That's the PR meeting, right?
That's it, yep.
Okay, so Thursday would be good. Do you have Thursday? Thursday is,
Is that your paper day? Or
I don't really
Wednesday?
care about Thursday.
Okay.
Really don't. What day is, today's the 24th?
Yes.
So next Thursday is the
Third.
3rd, okay.
Are you able to sneak away for an hour or two?
Yeah.
Like if we did like a midday type of thing?
Mhm.
Like
I
on
mean, I
that
don't even care if
Thursday?
you do 3:30.
3:30's fine. I could do
I
before.
mean, if we do it at lunchtime, I can run down.
Well, I'm saying,
just
but
take a
if you're,
long
are
lunch
you
or
better doing it like
We're better-
2:30 or 3 and then we just go for 2 hours? I'm also trying to make sure I have a couple of people there to go through.
Just at
the discussion,
3:30.
so-
Chris is good at 3:30, I'm
Are you
good at 3:30. You leave a
That's
half
fine.
hour
Yeah,
early.
right.
Yeah.
So that's
Listen.
Thursday at 3:30 next week.
Yeah.
And then, but that's for the walkthrough or for the other
Well,
meeting?
that's for us to sit down
Okay, that's
and,
that one, all right. For the walkthrough, what do you want to do for that? Anything special, or I know you're pretty much
we'll
open.
just go,
It's just,
Steve really needs to be in on the Thursday, the third meeting.
right, that's the most
The other
important.
one, we can get back to Steve in the meeting.
Well, actually, Steve can always go
So-
look at
Just let me know
anytime.
ahead of time, and I can always
He
get
can
in
say yes
myself.
or no, or whatever. So Tuesday next week, how are you Tuesday?
Me?
The first day of American Indian
I got
Heritage
nothing.
Month. So,
Do some Tuesday?
do some on Tuesday? Yeah.
All the time. I mean, earlier better, or,
Or works for you?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, he's normally in on
9
Tuesday.
o'clock, 9:30?
If you want to do morning, that's fine too.
Tuesday, a week from tomorrow?
A week from tomorrow.
Does that conflict with our meeting for the emergency hazard?
That's usually at 6.
That's November 2nd?
This is November 1st.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't have my phone in front of me.
It's the
Yeah,
first
that's
day of
November
American
2nd, so-
Indian Heritage Month.
Okay.
So Tuesday at like, did we say 9 or 9:30?
9:30.
Yeah, 9:30 is great.
Okay.
Send out a warning
Yeah.
Well, I gotta send out a warning for both.
and an, yeah, and an
And also
invitation.
Thursday.
And an invitation,
Yep, okay.
all right?
And
So,
those are-
that way at least we get that stuff going.
Yeah.
But I really do think that Thursday at 3:30, we need to have something that
Yes,
we know what's dropping down the next 3-4 years
yep.
and what's coming on.
Could we also,
What?
Is the idea with that,
we need to get with I think with the rec committee too.
Well, and that's the other thing, is we wanna meet with the rec commission, and if I'm able, I'm gonna try and see how many I can get from the board to come to that 3:30 on Thursday, just so they can, if anybody wants to walk through and show us stuff, and then we can also have a meeting with the full commission. I think the full commission's Monday night.
It's a Monday night.
Yeah.
This Thursday at 3:30, ask the rec department to show up at like 5,
Right.
okay?
Well, yeah, I'll see if we can set up a meeting for 5 with the rec commission, and we can
Are
do
you
it all in
good
one
going
night.
that long, Steve? 3:30 to say 5:30 or 6?
It should be.
Okay.
I just have to check with my wife's schedule with
Yeah.
PFES, but
She might be doing yard work,
no,
sorry.
no. Don't make
Well, that
me
was-
say- No, she's probably working on Pico stuff is what she's doing.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
Getting ready for ski season. So, all right. You have any, I don't really have any executive session. I'm tired today.
I just have one question, and you had written about it today. Could you give us where we are after that? You told me this before the meeting. With the email that came out from, the only name said Zapata. I don't know the last name.
Zapata
Okay.
Courage is the wetlands
Yeah.
Oh.
representative for the, in response, with regards to the beaver management program application. She sent an email today that basically said, from the wetland side, that we are to move forward, that the landowner has agreed to allow us on there. They just wanted to read a document, and they're going to sign the document, and then that the final permits had to be issued. Those are from Josh, who is the Streams Group, who's also been involved with this process from the beginning, and in his agreement with what we're doing at this time. So the big issue on the wetland side is that was what the big prevention was, because it was access prevention. So now access will be allowed to the water, and now we just have to be able to lower the water, and we are in the process of finalizing that. This just came this afternoon.
Right.
I don't have all of the implications. I have a call and an email into Nicole. Hopefully I will talk to her tomorrow, and we will get our next steps, but this was a pretty good step forward, but we just have to get the last pieces of it done.
Okay, because,
For the life of me, I do not understand why a town needs to go out and spend the money we did with an engineer to go through to take out beaver dams that are going to ruin our infrastructure. The taxpayers of this town shouldn't have to be burdened with that.
I agree.
And this is ridiculous that they've let it go to this level.
The good thing is, we are going to be allowed to put a water level marker once the water is taken down to the level it's supposed to be, which means the stream's back in the channel, we're going to be able to put a water level marker, and then we will have to either hire somebody from the outside, or somebody has to manage the process that anytime that water starts to get up above what is considered a flood stage, we will be able to then automatically manage those
It's only
beaver
a
dams.
5-year.
No, you renew, the issue is it can go on, like this, the whole idea is that you manage it perpetually rather than every so often when it becomes a big problem.
This is where I'm
Okay.
at. I read the email that came back. I'm not really at the point where they say that it's a go, but that's what I'm being told. And our next meeting is in some 14 days. And if I don't have something there, I sent an email out to Nicole like 6 o'clock this morning saying, we need to get in front of these people. And then all of a sudden we get this email back, but it's dated a couple days, the Luke thing is dated weeks ago. And Zapata's email is still basically saying to clarify some certain things.
Yeah.
And in there, clarify what? So I still don't feel like, and then it still says all this other stuff in there, and you need to get landowners, and you have to file other permits.
Luke is the landowner to sign off on that one.
It doesn't sound like Luke is the landowner. He's asking you to get individual landowners, so that this is going back up to where they don't own up by, I think, Andrew McKenna and all them.
Right.
So we're not going just after one beaver dam, and
That's
this
correct.
is what we're going after, all the beaver dams that are clogging up our culverts along the town of Killington's River Road right now.
When Luke signs off, that will cover the one at the bottom. Andrew's already signed his, and we're getting the other signatures on the
But just
others.
because it's signed, it says that you need to take those signatures and file some permit.
Well, we have
That's
to
what
send
it
to
says.
them, right. But, well, Josh told Nicole that the day he has a signature, he will release each dam individually, so that we can start the process.
Where did he say this?
He told Nicole, who told me it's all verbal at this point. I'm trying to confirm.
I'm not going, it's been verbal for 3 years now.
Okay, well, I have a call and an email in. This happened.
I'm gonna
all
tell
the
you
time.
one
You
thing.
guys got it immediately.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. If we enter into the winter, and these culverts are filled with water, and then they freeze, and then they crack, and then they break the roads,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be happy. I don't know about you two.
No, this is ridiculous.
You know,
This process is.
so by November, when's our next meeting?
Well, I'm hoping we have information prior to that, and it might come out at our interim meeting
Information on,
what the result of this is in the permits.
right, but I'm just saying, if there is none by November 14th, it's crazy.
Okay.
Is there a need for executive session now that
I
we've
don't
already
have one
done the
today.
other deal?
I don't.
I don't.
Not right
We're good.
now.
No.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion, we did the
We have
other,
a chat, someone in the chat.
yeah, someone's chatting, might have been Matt, saying 10-4, Jim. So it's Jim.
Jim.
So he's gonna get a hold of me. Thanks, Matt.
Okay.
So, all right, so I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn at 8:13.
Okay.
Moved.
Unless you want to stay and talk, Chris.
I
All in favor of adjournment,
Nope.
please say aye.
want to get out tonight.